This morning, as fans mourn the loss of one of their greatest friends, we're learning new details about the investigation into Matthew Perry's death. A source close to Perry telling NBC News that the 54-year-old actor was discovered by his assistant. Law enforcement says that he was found unresponsive in a jacuzzi at his Pacific Palisades home Saturday.
Respond to the drowning.
Sources say that there was no obvious signs of trauma or foul play. The cause of death still unknown, pending toxicology testing. In an eerie foreshadowing of his passing, Perry's last Instagram post, just 5 days before his death, was this photo of him in a swimming pool. His family telling People magazine, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss of our beloved son and brother."
Pivot! Pivot! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
At just 24 years old, he landed the role of a lifetime for 10 seasons, charming fans as Chandler Bing on the hit NBC sitcom Friends. In a 2021 cast reunion special, Perry reflecting on the special bond with his co-stars.
After the show was over, if one of us bumped into each other, that was it. That was the end of the night. You just sat with the person all night long.
Former NBC Entertainment president Warren Littlefield says Perry was just as quick and witty off-screen.
His mind worked so fast. He was so adept, but also the heart that he had.
He opened up about his decades-long battle with drugs and alcohol in his 2022 memoir.
I didn't watch the show and haven't watched the show because I could go drinking, opiates, drinking, cocaine. Like I could tell season by season by how I looked.
Now, as fans grieve outside the famous Friends building used on the show, tributes are pouring in. Selma Blair, who called Perry her oldest boyfriend, posting, "I loved him unconditionally. I'm broken." Gwyneth Paltrow also remembering Perry for his humor and kindness and the magical summer they had during their brief romance in 1993. In an emotional video, Hank Azaria says the actor was like a brother to him, adding it was Perry who took him to his first AA meeting.
He was so caring and giving and wise, and he totally helped me get sober.
Perry himself hoping to be remembered most for helping others.
If somebody comes up to me and says, "I can't stop drinking, can you help me?" I can say yes and follow up and do it. When I die, I don't want Friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want that to be the first thing that's mentioned.
We're also learning new details about what Matthew Perry was doing the day of his death. Perry's pickleball coach telling People magazine that Perry had played a match with someone just hours before he was found dead in his home nearby. And the coach also said that he was doing really well. We should mention that this sad news is hitting another member of our NBC News family particularly hard. Matthew's stepfather is Dateline correspondent Keith Morrison, who's been married to his mother for more than 40 years. Our hearts go out to Keith and their entire family.
Yeah, Keith has so much love for that young man. Chloe, thank you. Joining us now is Wendy Naugle. She's the editor-in-chief for People magazine. I think what Matthew just said at the end of that last interview was so poignant. I think a lot of people think of Matthew Perry and they think Friends is going to be his legacy. But really, he was someone who was guiding people into rehab as he himself had been struggling for years.
Yes, that was so important for him. You know, he told us in an interview just a year ago, if you have my number and you need it, call me. I will help you. And that was really key for him. He really wanted to help others, and that's why he was so open with his own experience.
He had been through so much, and he wrote the memoir. Really, he was very transparent about the horrors that he had been through, but it seemed like he was working through it. He had attained sobriety, and he seemed to be doing better in life.
Yes, he had said that, you know, it wasn't a daily struggle, but it was something he thought about daily. So it was very important to him, and I think that's why he was so key in helping others. But he had also been doing so well. He was playing pickleball daily. He was writing a little script. That's where the Mat Man reference comes from in his Instagram. And he had signed on to a new drama film. So he was doing very well.
And he had just moved into this house that he had renovated as well. What more do we know about Perry's final days?
Well, we do know that he was playing pickleball that morning, and it seemed that he was doing very well. So the autopsy is complete, and of course there will be toxicology reports to come. But I think what everyone wants to remember about him is just how he was the friend who always wrapped you in his arms, was willing to help you no matter what you needed to do, and the outpouring of support that we've seen just echoes all of that.
Well, and from the Friends cast too, that was such a poignant moment during that reunion where he said something like, when we're at a party and we see one another, we're going to leave everybody else at the party and I'm going to spend my time just with that person. That bond was real.
That was real. I mean, Kathleen Turner talked about just what a tight-knit group they were when she was on the show and when she came in. And I think one of the things that really sticks with me is he talked about when we interviewed them around the reunion, we said, well, do you have any advice for your 24-year-old self? And he said, do the 11th season. And of course, it ended after 10 seasons. And I think there was a wish for more time for those people to be together.
All right. Well, Wendy, thank you so much. We appreciate that insight.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.